Women get addicted to men who do these 7 things. Most men never learn number 4. A woman can genuinely like you, have a great date with you, tell her friends you're a good guy, and 2 weeks later, barely think about you. Then she meets another man, and 3 months later, she's standing in the middle of some completely ordinary Tuesday, when something he said comes back into her head. Same woman. 2 good men, completely different psychological footprint. People call that addiction, but that word hides the part that actually matters. Because the goal isn't to make a woman dependent on you, it's to become associated with an experience she genuinely wants more of. And here's where most men get this backwards. They assume being unforgettable means giving her more attention, more compliments, more texts, more reassurance, more availability. That doesn't create attraction, it often suffocates it. There are 7 things that work together differently. The first 3 make you memorable. Number 4 is where a lot of good men accidentally remove themselves from the romantic category. But then the entire question changes. Because creating attraction is only half the problem. The deeper question is whether the connection you're creating is actually worth keeping. And by number 7, you may realize you've been asking the wrong question about dating entirely. So forget, how do I make her addicted to me? Here's the better question. What makes a man genuinely difficult to replace? 1. He remembers the person, not just the information. Most people can remember facts. Very few remember patterns. There's a difference. She tells you she works in finance. You remember she works in finance. Congratulations. Your memory has successfully defeated a small index card. But maybe you notice that every time she talks about something she really cares about, she speeds up, or that she makes a joke immediately after saying something vulnerable. Or that she remembers everybody else's birthday but gets strangely uncomfortable when people make a big deal about hers. Now you're not merely collecting information, you're encountering her. Imagine she's complaining about something that happened at work. The automatic response is to solve it. You should tell your boss this. You should do that. You should. Maybe. But sometimes the stronger response is, you know what actually bothered you? It wasn't the extra work, it was that they assumed you'd handle it without even asking. Pause. Because now she feels something different. Not flattered, recognized. And recognition is powerful because most people spend conversations preparing their next sentence. They hear enough to respond. They don't always hear enough to understand. That's why a generic compliment can disappear in 10 minutes while one strangely accurate observation survives for months. Compliments tell someone you like what you see. Attention tells them you actually saw it. But there's a danger. Some men finally learn how to pay attention to a woman, then become so interested in her that they quietly stop being interesting themselves. Which brings us to the second thing. 2. Liking her doesn't cancel his existing life. Before he meets her, this man has plans, friends, goals, responsibilities, interests, a Saturday that already contains actual events. Then he really likes her. Suddenly, what are you doing Friday? Whatever you want. Saturday? Whatever you want. Tuesday at 2:17 in the afternoon? I have cleared the continent. This happens because availability feels like proof of interest. But making room for somebody and removing yourself from your own life are not the same thing. Suppose she asks whether you're free Saturday. You already made plans. You don't cancel everything. You also don't turn it into some mysterious performance. Unfortunately, I'm occupied with matters I cannot discuss. Relax. You're helping your friend carry a sofa up 3 flights of stairs. Just say, Saturday's full. Sunday afternoon works. Done. Healthy independence isn't pretending to be unavailable. It's genuinely having a life you don't abandon every time attraction appears. That matters for you. It also changes the rhythm between you. There's space. Space for anticipation. Space for curiosity. Space for both people to return to their own lives and notice whether they actually miss the other person. But be careful. Space does not magically create attraction. If spending time with you feels like waiting for an elevator, 3 days apart won't create longing. It'll create peace. Space amplifies value. It cannot manufacture it. So, the real question becomes, when she sees your name appear again, what experience is she anticipating? That depends on number 3. 3. Time with him doesn't feel flat. Some dates go perfectly fine. That's the problem. Nothing goes wrong. Nothing particularly happens either. 2 hours of, what do you do? Where did you grow up? Do you have siblings? What are your hobbies? What are your 5-year goals? At some point, somebody should request 2 references and begin discussing dental coverage. Questions aren't the problem. Emotional flatness is. Memorable interactions move. Maybe she makes an absurd claim, and you challenge her on it. Now you have a running argument. Maybe you're both laughing. Then the conversation unexpectedly becomes personal. The energy slows. Something real gets said. Neither person makes a joke for 10 seconds. Then the tension breaks and you're laughing again. Playful, curious, competitive, warm, vulnerable. Back to playful. That movement gives the interaction shape. Because people don't remember every minute equally. They remember landmarks, the unexpected laugh, the look that lasted a little longer, the conversation that went somewhere neither person expected, the moment somebody said something slightly too honest. Memorable connection isn't about occupying more time. It's about giving time emotional landmarks. Now stack the first 3. She feels noticed. There's enough space to anticipate you. And when you're together, something actually happens emotionally. Sounds good, except there's a brutal little problem. A woman can experience all three of those things and still put you firmly in the category of, he's such a great guy, which is why number 4 matters more than most men realize. 4. He doesn't hide the fact that he wants her. Watch a confident man around people he doesn't care about impressing. Relaxed, funny, expressive. Then put him across from a woman he really wants. Suddenly he becomes an ambassador negotiating a fragile peace treaty. She arrives looking incredible. He thinks, wow. He says, cool jacket. Outstanding. Years of human evolution have culminated in textile recognition. A lot of men think hiding attraction protects them from rejection, but sometimes it protects them from romance too. If she looks incredible, you look incredible tonight. Then move on. No monologue, no expectation, no invisible invoice arriving afterward. You express desire. You didn't turn it into a debt. That distinction changes everything. The same thing happens in quieter moments. Eye contact lasts slightly longer. There's tension. A nervous man feels it and immediately tries to escape. So, traffic, electricity disconnected, building successfully evacuated. But confidence doesn't require forcing the moment forward. Sometimes it means not running away from it. Stay present. Let attraction exist. If she feels it too, she can participate. If she doesn't, respect what you're learning. Because chemistry has two authors. You can express attraction. You cannot manufacture hers. Desire becomes attractive when it can reveal itself without demanding an outcome. And that leads to a better definition of confidence. Confidence is not, I know she wants me. It's, I can be honest about wanting her without needing to control whether she wants me. That's real confidence. And this is where the entire video changes, because everything we've discussed so far can help create attraction, attention, independence, memorable experiences, visible desire. But attraction alone doesn't tell you whether a connection is good. So halfway through, the question has to become harder. What does being attracted to you cost her emotionally? Because there's a version of addicted that looks intense from the outside, but feels miserable from the inside. 5. She gets the spark without paying for it in anxiety. Monday, amazing date. Tuesday, great conversation. Wednesday, nothing. Thursday, nothing. Friday at 12:43 a.m. You up? What happened? Was he briefly declared missing? Uncertainty absolutely can make somebody think about you. That's why it fools people. They confuse mental occupation with attraction. But, I can't wait to see him again. And, why is this man behaving like a raccoon trapped in my attic? Both involve thinking about somebody. Only one is the relationship you want. The rare combination is not maximum intensity. It's excitement without emotional whiplash. You can surprise someone without destabilizing them. Be independent without becoming mysteriously unavailable. Flirt without manufacturing jealousy. Have standards without threatening withdrawal. And if you say you're going to call, call. Plans change? Communicate. Busy day? Say so. She shouldn't need 3 friends, a whiteboard, and 12 screenshots to determine whether your punctuation means the relationship has collapsed. This creates a combination people underestimate. There can be butterflies on top and solid ground underneath. Safety doesn't eliminate excitement. Predictability and safety are different. A predictable man never surprises her. A safe man can surprise her without making her question whether she matters. Chemistry creates heat. Consistency keeps the room from burning down. And once excitement no longer depends on confusion, something else becomes visible. Character. Because eventually she isn't only asking, do I feel something around him? She's asking, do I respect who he becomes when something is at stake? 6. He doesn't sell pieces of himself for approval. Everybody has standards until enforcing one might cost them somebody they really like. That's the test. She cancels at the last minute again. No problem. She says something disrespectful. Haha, you're crazy. She contacts him only when she needs something. Of course, anything. Meanwhile, his internal emotional building is fully on fire. But externally, everything's fantastic. Why? Because disagreement creates risk. If he says what he actually thinks, she might dislike it. If he holds a boundary, she might walk away. So, he begins making tiny trades. His schedule for access, his opinion for approval, his standards for possibility. And eventually something strange happens. She's still dating him, but she's no longer meeting him. She's meeting a carefully edited version designed to prevent rejection. When your entire personality is optimized for being chosen, intimacy turns into an audition. Boundaries don't require aggression. If she repeatedly asks to meet at the last second, last minute usually doesn't work for me. Tell me earlier and we'll figure something out. If an argument becomes disrespectful, I want to work this out. I'm not going to speak to you like that, and I don't want us speaking to each other like that either. Clear. Calm. No punishment. No revenge. No 40-minute courtroom speech to a jury that does not exist. Just self-respect. The same principle applies to desire. I want to see you again. Friday works. I know a place you'll like. Come with me. Direct. Not. Maybe perhaps potentially we could do something sometime, unless you're busy, which obviously is completely. Stop. That sentence is old enough to apply for retirement. Say what you mean. Give her the freedom to answer. Because confidence isn't believing you'll always receive a yes. It's remaining yourself when no is possible. Now look at what we have. She feels seen. She anticipates seeing you. Your time together is memorable. She knows you desire her. Your behavior feels trustworthy. And you don't dissolve into whatever you think she'll approve of. That sounds complete. It isn't. because a man can do every single one of those things and still be creating the entire relationship by himself. Which brings us to the most important point. 7. He stops trying to win and starts watching whether she's playing too. This is where dating changes. Stop asking only, "How well am I doing?" Start asking, "What is she choosing?" Because some men become so focused on creating attraction that they never notice they're manufacturing the entire connection alone. He starts every conversation, plans every date, asks every question, rescues every awkward silence, revives every dying exchange, makes every accommodation, creates every romantic moment. And when her effort drops, his increases. She initiates less, he initiates more. She becomes colder, he becomes funnier, she pulls back. He starts performing like there's a talent judge hiding behind the furniture. Underneath all of it is one belief: if I become valuable enough, maybe she'll finally choose me. Then one day his last message sits there unanswered. Usually he asks, "What should I send next?" But eventually a better question appears: if I stopped pushing this forward, would it move at all? That question can save you months, because attraction isn't merely something you create. It's something you observe. Does she initiate sometimes? Does she ask about your life? Remember things? Make room for you? Suggest seeing you? Reach toward you when nobody is pulling her? Not perfectly, not mathematically. Human connection does not need a quarterly performance report. But directionally, both people should be building. And here's the deeper reason. At the beginning, she mostly experiences your desire for her. He likes me, he wants another date. But when attraction becomes mutual, she starts experiencing something else: her desire for you. She wants to send the message. She wants another date. She remembers something you said. She sees something funny and immediately wants to tell you. She moves something in her schedule because seeing you matters. And eventually, without some dramatic movie moment, she catches herself. "Oh, I really like this man." You didn't force that realization. You couldn't. She discovered it partly by watching her own choices. That's reciprocity. And reciprocity is the moment attraction stops being one person's performance and starts becoming two people's relationship. That's why low effort from somebody else should not automatically become a challenge to increase your own. Low reciprocity isn't always a mystery asking you to become more impressive. Sometimes it's an answer asking you to become more honest. So the question, "What else can I do to make her choose me?" eventually has to become, "Is she choosing me too?" Now we can answer the original question. What makes a man difficult to replace? It isn't one trick, it's the combination. He notices what other people skim past, but he doesn't become so fascinated by her that he abandons himself. He creates space, but makes the time together worth anticipating. He expresses desire, but never turns desire into pressure. He creates excitement, without requiring anxiety to keep the excitement alive. He has standards, even when those standards might cost him approval. And finally, he stops measuring the connection only by what he can create, and notices whether she's creating it too. That's why addiction was always the wrong goal. You don't want a woman unable to leave. You want her completely able to leave, and genuinely interested in staying. There's a difference. Chemistry matters. Without it, chemistry can become exhaustion. Self-respect matters. Without it, attraction can slowly erase the person experiencing it. But reciprocity may matter most. Because without reciprocity, you might not actually have a relationship. You might have an extremely convincing one-man production. So notice her. Keep yourself. Create memorable moments. Let desire be visible. Become trustworthy. Hold your standards. Then stop staring only at your own performance and look across the connection. Is she moving toward you too? Because the strongest attraction isn't one person becoming so irresistible that the other person finally surrenders. It's two people repeatedly discovering that neither one has to be convinced to stay. That's real Rizz. Not emotional chess. Not strategic disappearing. Not spending 27 minutes calculating whether replying now makes you appear 17% too interested. Social intelligence. Chemistry. Reliability. Self-respect. Reciprocity. And maybe the most important shift of all, while you're wondering whether you're good enough for her to choose. Remember, you're supposed to be choosing too. The goal isn't to become impossible for her to leave. It's to build something neither of you wants to fake. This is the Rizz now. We'll see you in the next video.